Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about organization and kind of the historical organization of organisms and how they're interrelated, and that is done through phylogenetic trees and cladograms. So there are phylogenetic trees and cladograms. This is one of those. Oop, I misspelled trees. It says tress. Oh man, it's embarrassing. It's one of those things that a little bit more complicated. Well, you gotta kind of more practical. Like you have to do things. It's not more just memorizing things. It's kind of like a logic puzzle, figuring things out. Cladograms are typically written kind of with this vertical line and branching with traits. This is the kind of the trait that's added, and then you can often you don't see like branching further down, but you will. I don't see here what I need, but you can see that as we progress, they become vertebrates. Vertebra, lobsters and spiders don't have that, but they have this exoskeleton that's molted, and then from this point on, they're all vertebrates. They share this characteristic. The perch and the flounder, being fish, don't have lungs, and then this is a shared characteristic that is then passed on, not passed, but have all the organisms down further have that characteristic. Over on the left-hand side over here, this is more of how I guess it's still kind of a cladogram, but more of the tree shape, right? Where you have the branching and the tree shape. All right, so we have this first branch where we have basically a skeleton or not, kind of exoskeleton versus endoskeleton. And then we further branching based on those traits. This is a blurry picture, but again, the same idea. The one thing that you have for all of these is an out group, and the out group is the one organism that's least like the others. So in this case, the mosses is the out group. And if you were to compare pines and ferns, and what they have in common, it would be xylem and I guess the embryo. So everything before that. So ferns don't have watered seeds. Pines have those, but they both have these two traits in common before them. And then the outgroup, the other important thing is to remember is the outgroup. It's the one that is least like the others, and it's shown as a branching off this way. So now what I want to do is do some practice problems, kind of do the practical side of this. You'll see that more than anything else. Hold on a second. Let me do one. Again, this is a historical perspective, and so the oaks and pines are more closely related than oaks and ferns. So keep that in mind. Or mosses, are least like the others, least related. So there have been a division much further back than between pines and oaks. So let me get this problem set up, and we'll do some practice problems. All right, so we have the practice problem here, and often the data is given in this kind of chart form. Oop. Don't want to do that. And the two that I have are protein related, and you can look at these things based on any kind of homology. Often it's, oh my gosh, what is going on here? I had it nice and set up, and I figured out my problem. But often, as I was saying, you have these amino acid sequences or different DNA sequence differences, and we'll enlarge that a little bit. And then you're asked to compare them and draw either a cladogram or phylogenetic tree. Sometimes they give you the template, sometimes not. So this is amino acid differences in the list protein among bear species. And we're going to compare these. And this chart shows you that the panda has 33 different amino acids from the black bear, 34 different amino acids from the brown bear, and 40 amino acid differences from the polar bear. This, if you look at the other data here, right, the black bear is going to be 33 from the panda, 1 from the brown, and 7 from the polar bear. And the brown bear is going to have 34 differences with the panda, 1 difference from the black bear, and then 8 from the polar bear. The largest difference of any of them then is the polar bear, and the polar bear is now going to be the panda bear, my bad, is going to be the out group. So you'd write panda there. I don't have any characteristics to write in this one. It's just kind of organizing as you would. And then the next, or least similar, all right, if you just take a quick scan of this data, you see that the one between the black and the brown makes them pretty similar. And then polar bear is 7 and 8 differences between that black and brown bear. So you'd put the polar bear would come next. And again, that'll give you a template. The lines should mean a time. There's a distance here, would be a time frame, but I don't have a time, so I'm just drawing it as I can. And at the end here, you've got the black and the brown bear. And you'd have kind of a division there since they're pretty similar. And you would have, see, the black and the brown bear is a 1. It doesn't tell you specifically which is more recent than the other one, so the order there doesn't matter as much. Black and then brown. So that's a pretty basic, simple one, relationships, and I'm going to enlarge this one, and then we'll do another cladogram and talk about that. So give me a second, literally a second, to fix. All right, here's our second problem, and again, we're looking at differences in the amino acid sequence of a protein from 5 different species. You're given a template to start with, and we look at the data we have. The finch is different by 2, 2, 6, and 10. The gecko is 2, 1, 7, 11. The turtle has differences of, so you start here, 2 from the finch, 1 from the gecko, 7 from the frog, 11 from the zebrafish. And then the frog is going to have 6 differences from the finch, 7 from the gecko, 7 from the turtle, and 13 from the zebrafish. If you look at the data, the least similar of all of them, which would be the most differences, is going to be the zebrafish. So that's going to be your out group, and it's going to. So this is the kind of the beginning, I guess, of time, so to speak, is way over here, and this is kind of, so this is further back, and this is closer to today. So you could say kind of this is the more of the modern area, and this is more of the old time or the ancient area. So the zebrafish, having the most differences, will be the out group, and it's way out there. So that's the differences there. The frog has 6, 7, 7, and 13. All right, so it's got the next highest number, so it's, again, least like the rest. So the frog would be in this spot, kind of more closely of the rest. It's more closely related to the zebrafish. And then we look at what we got next. We have what else is least like the others. We've got the gecko and the finch is at 2. The turtle and the finch is at 2. Actually, it's helpful if you kind of cross things off as you go too. So I've got these 3 left, right? Let's try to pull up again. And I have the gecko and the turtle have a 1 difference, and the finch and the gecko and the turtle have a 2 difference. So again, the finch is higher by 1, so the finch would go here. And then you've got the other 2, the turtle and the gecko, and again, there's just a 1 difference, and it's not specifying what that 1 difference is, so it's the order and the last 2 are not as important, so I'm just going to put a turtle and gecko, and that's your organization. So, oh man, I can't spell today. Oh well, let's leave it. So if you look at the similarities, the gecko's more closer to the turtle, and then you have the turtle and the finch, and then you kind of go back through time for least related. So it's these problems are more like logic problems than anything else, but you're looking at the interrelatedness between species, you're looking at shared characteristics. You can do DNA sequences, you can do proteins, you can do just shared characters, whether or not they have a shared some sort of shared character like the lungs or the vertebrae. If I go back up here to this, these are shared, right? So you can break it up the shared characteristics as well. So the flowers are not shared by anything, but the yolks have them. So you'd have a chart where it's all negative, except, well, actually the yolks would have everything, and the outgroup. So hopefully this made a little bit of sense, and work on those problems, and we'll assess where we need to be. Anyway, like the video, subscribe, play this on repeat, help me monetize my channel. Have a great day.